This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Media Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Media Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodias.dental. Moodias Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodiasdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take $10,000 off a 2025 MDX at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our grand bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Yo!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days from Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
It's the Big O Show
morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are doing well on a beautiful Thursday, November 6, 2025. It is day number 18,923 since the Miami Dolphins were Super Bowl champions. Day number 8,707 since the Canes were national title winners. And day number 2 of Bitcoin over 100K as we restart that count. Wouldn't you like to restart the other counters? That's really the goal, is to restart the other ones. But this restart was actually, I was still a little shocked actually, but pleasantly shocked. Of course, pleasantly shocked. Anyway, welcome aboard. Hope you all are doing well here on a Thursday and hanging in there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Por favor. Got some stuff to talk to you about today. The sad note to start off with is Eric Spoelstra, the Heat head coach, was wrapping up the West Coast swing against the Nuggets. They will take on the Hawks on Friday here at home. And his house burned down yesterday. And that was videos all over the place and being released. The video of the house burning, the after effects, the poor man at his house. I think fire is terrifying. Terrifying if you're home and terrifying if you're away because, dude, it's your home. Like, your possessions are in there. You know what I'm saying? And you lose everything, and it's just, fire has got to be like the saddest thing that families have to go through because they lose all their possessions. You know, look, obviously life is the most important thing, and no life was lost, and he's got plenty of money, and I'm sure he's got insurance, but there's probably a lot of memories in there personally for him, personal memories, professional memories, things like that. You know, that we all have in our home. It's useless to everybody else, priceless to us, right? You know what I'm saying? I got a 6-foot poster of Dr. J. Nobody gives a shit about that, but I do. It's my guy. You know what I mean? Something's too. I got a Senior Bowl jersey that's framed. Not a big deal to anybody, but to me it was, because it was a gift and all that. So, you know, stupid shit that means nothing to anybody else. All this stuff back here, dude, you know, all this means a lot to me. A lot. A shit ton. I mean, how many times have people asked about the Eiffel Tower? You think if that thing doesn't burn down, if this thing burns down, you think I wouldn't be missing the hell out of this thing? Represents the 25th year anniversary of my wife and I being married, you know, and bought it in Paris, you know. So this is useless to most people. To me, it's priceless. Right? And I'm sure Eric Spoelstra has a ton of things that are priceless to him, you know, and just that's really the sad part, is the memories and the personal items. You can replace the home if you have insurance. You know, you can rebuild all that stuff. You can't replace any of that. You know what I mean? There's no way. I'm never going to be able to replace this because it doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Does it mean anything to anybody? No, but it does to me because it's part of my history, you know? So these are things that, yeah, man, when something like that happens, you know, if you have kids, their stuff, it just really, really rough. Really, really rough. The good thing is no loss of life, which is the most important part for the home. And but really a sad story, and you feel for Spo, because that's not something that you want anybody to happen, you know. Anyway, don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button, please. Appreciate you all out there. If you can, smash it, smash it, smash it. As always, where are the markets at right now? There was some bad news with unemployment. No shocker, because it's kind of
predictable we were headed that way. It's just a lot of people don't think about these kind of things because they're just party zombies. But what do we have here? Oh, the Dow is down 371 points. The S&P is down 59, and the NASDAQ is barely up half a point. And it was reported that the job cuts in October, highest in 22 years since 2003, 153,074 jobs, 175% surge. And this surge wasn't with a little lemon twist. Okay? So, yeah. Things are not getting better. They're getting worse, unfortunately. So, we'll see what the Feds do with the rate cuts coming up, too. So, we'll find out. Anyway. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? I see Jay Gelfin is hitting the like button, number 1. Thank you. Oscar Rojas, Brian Radke, Kosa, Gus1388, Alexis, Juan Rosa, Corso Traven, Think Blue Dodgers, Dolphin Dave, Thomas Reichert is in Greenville, Tennessee. Thank you for tuning in, Thomas. Appreciate you. One-Eyed Jack is smashing it, and the like button too. Agree, Juan. Sad story. Marshawn Nealon, the Dallas Cowboy player, passed away at the age of 24. We don't know why and what happened, but 24 is just way too young. Way too young. Stetson Brian Landis, Ray Sosa. Yes, sir. Bam got the left foot injury. So do I get a blind-ass fan alert now? Because I took the Heat plus the 9.5, lost by 10, but I lost Bam in the first quarter. Kind of, I was actually feeling good about that bet, man. I think if we have the super role player, we lose within the 9.5. So, Sean, give it to me if I deserve the blind ass fan alert.
Hey, I do have a question for you. When Jaime Jaquez threw up that 3 with like 30 seconds left, you were hoping it was hitting, right? To take it to within 7?
Yes. I was hoping, and I made a note here with Jaquez. You're not a 3-point shooter, bro. He did hit one, and I was like, yeah, all right, but I did bet Jaime over 15 points, so I made a little money last night. So, but that was nothing. It's not a big deal. It was whatever. What were you going to say?
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
I personally don't think I deserve it because they lost by 10. It was 9.5. No Bam from the middle of the first quarter or something. We lost him with the left foot injury. I don't know, man. By the way, props to the Heat last night. They hung in there, dude. They cut it to single digits a couple times there. It's just, obviously Denver's better. But the loss of Bam was just way too much. And they still fought through it, dude. They still fought through it. I don't know if you watched the game, Sean, but I respect to the Heat yesterday.
Yeah, no, they actually they showed a lot of fight. Even the announcers, because the way I watch it, I get the actual Denver broadcast, so it's the Denver announcers. And they were very, like, this team's not going away. It's just the size of Jokic and the paint. That was the one thing they did say about Khalil Ware, which was funny. There goes Khalil Ware can shoot the ball. The only problem is he's allergic to the paint.
Yeah, no, he's got no weight.
Yeah.
And Jovic have to toughen up.
Yeah.
And with that said, by the way, Ware had 13 points, 13 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block.
Yeah, no, he played fine. Yeah.
He played well last night. Okay. He played well last night. So give him props. Jamie played well. Powell played well. Wiggins played well last night. The Bam injury, I easily win that bet if Bam plays. I'm not telling you they win the game or anything, but it's a tighter game if Bam is playing. There's no doubt in my mind. So I get the blind ass fan alert. Personally, I don't think I deserve it, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you still lost. I don't know. You still lost. I don't get to give it to you often, so when I get a chance, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I know, but man, the boys did nice yesterday. I was proud of the Heat. I know who they are. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at them for who they are, and considering what that team is. They showed fight yesterday. I respect for the Heat last night. Respect.
Yeah, and to me, Norman Powell calms everything down. That's what you miss when he's not on the floor. Like the games when they're, I mean, I know they won when he wasn't there, but when they like Denver went on the run and then he got back on the floor and just calmed everything down, whereas the young guys were kind of trying to run and get more shots. He was like, "Let's calm it down," and they got right back into the game.
Yeah. Their size was a problem, obviously. Jokic is just, man, he is awesome. Lisa Rose, I see. Ray Sosa, Luis Medina, Gio. He says, doing my mail carrier route here in a nice sunny day in Puerto Rico. Nice. There you go. Nice. La Isla del Encanto. What else? Jeff in Long Island, Lofi, Scott Bonus. My house burnt down in 2011, but I saved everyone in the house. Thank God. Well, that's the most important part, first and foremost. There's no doubt. That's the most important part, that you lose any life. But then after that, it's got to be rough, dude. It's got to be rough. I've never experienced it, but I can only imagine it being rough for anybody that goes through it. Astraf Sterling, Yater Castro. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it, sir. Let's see. Ty in the Bronx, Ray Varnicus, Big Mike in New York City. Roberto, Miko Sands is watching from the Bahamas. And he says, bro, be encouraged. I am by the Heat. I am. Not by the Dolphins, but by the Heat, yes. Eric is in the house. Yeah, Sean, of course, Sean didn't waste any time. He's got to get in that blind ass fan alert. Juan says, I'm impressed by the Heat so far. Lose or win, they're not getting blown out like they did in previous years. Exactly. They're playing very respectable basketball right now. Basketball Jones also in the house, and the great Ray Sosa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Denver wouldn't have been that much of a problem last night with Bam. They would have been able to give him a really, really nice game, I think, actually, if Bam would have been able to stay in the game. Now we got to find out what the hell is going on with Bam's injury, because that's a very serious injury. You do not want to lose the super role player because he helps you out in so many different ways. So let's hope, my friends, that that's the case. But again, very respectable outing by the Heat last night, man. And obviously the sad story with Spo. Do want to remind you, of course, about Cutter's Edge Pro. If you're looking for landscaping here in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, they got over 70 trucks. My man, William Quigley, they've been doing it for a long time, dude. Over 20 years, landscape, outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass. This is the real American dream. It started with a lawnmower, and now it's one of the biggest landscaping companies in South Florida, dude. Okay, so lots of HOA complexes and businesses hire them, and lots of homes. They do maintenance. Call them. If you own dogs like I do, the artificial turf is a blessing. 954-472-0622, and tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you that they will definitely take care of you. All right. By the way, we'll be at Hialeah Park on Monday. Normally it's Tuesday, but Tuesday I leave to Madrid. So we're going to be gone for a week to Madrid. We will be doing some shows out there, not every day, because I don't believe I will do one on Wednesday, the day I arrive there. Probably, I am going to do one on Tuesday because I leave at 3. So we want to be at the airport by noon. So I'll probably do something in the morning on Tuesday, but then I'm gone. And for sure, there will be no show on Wednesday. Guaranteed. There will be no show on Wednesday. And then we're back Thursday and Friday, and then Sunday to do the pre and post out there for the, I was going to say it, Commanders Dolphins game. By the way, they've got the 20 for 20 promo going on at Hialeah Park. So take advantage from Saturday, November 8th through the 15th, and the 22nd, and November 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29 from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. They're going to hold a raffle for all players who have played 20 hours between Sunday and Friday that week. At 10 p.m. every 10 minutes, one player is going to win $1,000. All right? So come on out, and then at 12 a.m. they will pick a lucky player for the big prize, which is $10,000. All right? And if the lucky players, well, they're also going to split let me see what it is. Okay, the big prize between all the players with 8 more on Saturday from 8 to 11 p.m. And those folks are going to get $800. So there are also going to be all kinds of winners going on at Hialeah Park. So take advantage of their promo, their 20 for 20 promo. All right. They're at Hialeah Park. Plus, you can play their sports app too, tied to Hard Rock, and bet on the Dolphins losing or winning, or bet on Inter Miami. By the way, Sean, are you going to Game 3 on Saturday? There's plenty of tickets available, dude. No, tickets as low as $48 I saw yesterday. I mean, there are tickets everywhere in that stadium for an elimination game in the playoffs, Lionel Messi. What happened to that buzz? What happened? What happened? And you're building a new stadium. I mean, it's kind of scary, dude. Like how poor of a job the ownership has done for, not connecting with the community, just with the Argentine community. That's it. And now you got Suarez suspended for doing something really dirty, as always. Typical. Like the guy is just like a professional lowlife. And by the way, when you have a guy like Suarez, it also doesn't help you trying to sell your team to your community, because that's not a guy you root for. Suarez is not a guy you want to have any kind of success. You know what I'm saying? So it's a shame that he's a very talented player, but my God, can you be any bigger of a scumbag? Probably not. Yeah, like he can't help himself from being a scumbag. Is that amazing? The dude can't help himself from being a scumbag. That's pretty amazing for Suarez. Pretty freaking amazing. Let's see, what else do we have here on the chat board? Noah says, good morning, brother. Watching from Atlanta. Like the way the Heat and Cats are competing in spite the injuries and being undermanned. Yes. And great point on the Cats, Noah, because, some people are kind of panicking. They're actually 6-6. I believe it's 6-6. And they're playing tonight, right? Aren't they playing tonight against the Kings? Yeah, they're 6-6. And for them to be as injured and have some of the bad breaks that they've had, to be 6-6, it's pretty damn impressive. It shows you their depth. And this is a super long season. They'll get healthy. They'll figure things out. They'll get a healthy Kachuk halfway through the season. So you haven't really had a healthy Kachuk for 2 years. That should really lift the spirits of the team and should really attract a lot of attention having a superstar, back on the ice. That should open it up. And I have all the confidence in the world that Barkov will be one of those freaks that'll come back during the playoffs. I really do. So, and maybe he might not be 100%, but like Kachuk, he'll find a way to help out. You know what I mean? Because he's smart. He'll be able to do it. Like last year, Kachuk was all messed up, and he was still helping out in his own way. So, great players find a way, and I'm with you, Noah, 100%. The Heat have been a nice, pleasant surprise. Let's see if they can keep it up, or better yet, let's see if they can improve. As when they get Tyler back, see if they're able to mesh everything together. The key also will be that hopefully this, the injury to Bam might be a little bit of a blessing in this case, because we've had this whole thing going on with Kel'el Ware and people talking about, his maturity and does his motor, yada, yada, yada. And Spo had to bench him, just a couple of games ago in the first half. And then he came out, and played with a little fire in that second half and played well yesterday. Maybe now that urgency sets in. If Bam misses some time, this thrusts Kel'el Ware into the spotlight. And in a way, it re-energizes him, or it energizes him, energizes him in a way that I'm the guy now. I got a chance to show myself. I got a chance to go show that I can be the backup to Bam. Now they're going to need him badly. And who knows? This might be a little bit of the spark that gives Kel'el Ware that oomph he needs to kind of get over it. And then when you do get Bam back, now all of a sudden you've got a better team. So I'm going to be interested to see how Ware handles the absence of Bam. Does he take it as the opportunity of a lifetime to say, okay, let me show you who I am now? Because now you got to depend on me. If I make a mistake, I'm not going to the bench, all that kind of stuff. And the kid had 4 steals yesterday. That shows me something. All right. So I like, and he changed some shots also. If you watch the game, I don't know if those of you that watch the game, I'm going to be interested to see how Kel'el Ware handles this Bam Adebayo injury. Gio says, hey, what ideas do you have to save the ratings in the NBA? I think the rules they implement in the game today are one of the biggest factors on why people are not watching. Well, the NBA sucks nowadays. It's all 3 and no D. And so, yeah, the NBA is not, dude, unfortunately, Gio, you can't undo certain things unless you rewrite history completely. You want even though this was one of the best World Series, baseball's lost a shit ton. So you're going to bring back bunting, you're going to bring back stealing, you're going to bring back manufacturing runs. Are you going to teach players all to bunt and to hit also to opposite fields and all the kind of things that they used to do? Are you going to do that? Probably not. But that's when baseball was better. Are you going to get back to college basketball where athletes have to stay 3 to 4 years before they go to the NBA? Remember, like what I grew up with, Noah, or who was that, Gio? What I grew up with, Gio, is I grew up with superstars playing in college basketball. You guys that are young, you have no idea what it's like. You don't know what it's like to see Jordan in college for 3 or 4 years, or Shaq for 3 or 4 years. You have no idea, because now you have the one and dones, or some none. They just go overseas, and you don't know any of these players. You'll never know what it's like to see Duke and and UNLV 2 straight years with a bunch of NBA players on both teams. So we can't turn the hands back on the NBA. We can't turn the hands back on baseball, and we can't turn the hands back on college basketball. Those sports have lost. They are not better anymore. And the worst one of the three is college basketball, actually. You know, baseball and at least pro basketball, okay, they're still half deep, but like college basketball is straight garbage compared to what you used to watch. Like it's so minor league to what you used to watch. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Can you imagine nowadays Stacey Ogman, Anderson Hunt, Larry Johnson, and George Ackles playing against these guys nowadays? My God, they wouldn't lose a game. Leitner, Hurley, Hill, all those guys. Can you imagine playing? Can you imagine 5 Slamma-Jamma? You know, only old people understand what the hell I'm talking about. Like it would be a joke. College basketball would be the Generals, and they would be the Harlem Globetrotters. They would just be running circles around all these teams. Why? Because they're all little kiddies that they've barely even broken puberty. Or the guys that are there for a while, they're role players at best in college basketball. So, unfortunately, my brother, I don't know what we do. I don't think we'll ever recapture what baseball was, what NBA was. I mean, the physicality of the NBA is absolutely gone, and it'll never return. And college basketball, forget that. You're never going to get people to restrain them and keep them from making money for 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean? Even with NIL. So, yeah, it's just, unfortunately, these changes were for the worst, and you can't go backwards. Yes, sir.
No, I wanted to ask you also with those changes as well, how much does it change with now you can just get a recap of a 3-hour game in 10 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes. I mean, what's interesting is I went to the FanDuel site for the Heat. They have a 5-minute recap, a 10-minute recap, and a 15-minute recap, depending on how much time you have. Like, there's no reason to watch a full game now unless you really have to. You can just go to a recap and catch up on everything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The recap, you pretty much catch everything. You're right, because I've watched the recaps sometimes myself. If I don't watch the game, I have to watch the recap, of course. So you're right. You are 100% right. And it's different, man. It's different. And the the sport itself hasn't gotten better. Unfortunately, those changes hurt the sport. What are you going to do? Nothing like college basketball. Oh, my God. What you watch now in college basketball is straight up like garbage, bro. Straight up garbage. That is insane how terrible it is. Straight up garbage is college basketball nowadays compared to what we used to watch. Straight up garbage. Little minor league, it's like a level above high school now. Just barely above high school is what it is. Where college basketball used to be just a notch under the NBA is what it was. You know, because you were actually with young NBA players, young NBA stars, young NBA superstars, which is pretty cool. You know, that we don't have anymore, unfortunately. So Tata Martino back with Atlanta. Not good for Messi and the boys. By the way, if Messi and the boys lose on Saturday, woo, doggy. That failure gets bigger and bigger and bigger for the Moss brothers and for Messi. What an absolute choke job if they lose again. After all that, the dude can't do anything in the MLS. That's pretty bad. And by the way, it's Messi's head coach, it's Messi's GM, and it's Messi's players. He's been in charge of all of that. Okay? So don't blame anybody but Messi and Moss, because the Moss brothers have allowed the inmate to run the asylum. Not inmates, inmate to run the asylum, because Messi runs the asylum. So all the dysfunction that you're watching comes from Lionel Messi, because he's the one that put together the team, top to bottom. And they have no choice. They have to do everything Messi wants, or they can't keep the, I don't know. Are you a golden egg? Are you the golden goose, Sean? Because games aren't sold out like you expected. I just wonder now you got to create a Messi tournament. I mean, how many things are you creating Messi drinks and tournaments and all kinds of stuff to try to milk the money back? I don't know. What are you going to say?
No, I was going to say, Messi's no longer a novelty. Now that he's been here people can go see him whenever now.
Yeah.
When he first got here, it was like, oh, okay. And then he wasn't playing every game because he was still doing his commitments to the national team and everything. And now you get to see him every day. He's no longer the attraction. He's just Messi now.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw some guy post some website or something on X that, when the season ends, they should loan him out to this team for a few months. I'm like, do you see how much he plays? The last thing they want to do is loan him out for 4 more months, that when he comes back, he has to play every tournament, every stupid exhibition all around the world. Now he has a Messi tournament coming and everything. Like, what are you talking about, dude? The guy's going to take those 4 months off, if anything, because he's got to be worn out, man. I actually, like Achan, I also worry about him suffering an injury. He is like rock solid and he's a gym rat, but he's old. And you keep overusing an old guy, that's when fatigue sets in. And then that's when, as you all know, I'm not breaking any news. I'm not enlightening any of you on anything here. You all know. You've seen it before. You've seen it yourself. You wear out people, they break down. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. We always love the super chats, of course, but YouTube takes 30%. So we encourage Cash App or Venmo, where you can also send in your questions, comments, and insults there on Cash App or Venmo. Ty in the Bronx. He said 81-83 Cougars, Clyde, Akeem, Michaud, and Geddes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Phi Slamma Jamma. Dude, I could get the NC State boys and run the table. Corciani and Rodney Monroe and Charles Shackelford, and they'll run the table in today's college basketball. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine those Syracuse teams with Sherman Douglas and Ronnie Cycli and what is it, Poe or Mo or Rowe? Was it Rowe? Matt Rowe was that shooter. There was Billy Owens. There was trying to remember some of the other guys that were on that team. I mean, it was like loaded. They would run the table. Patrick Ewing with Orlando Graham and those guys in Georgetown would run the table nowadays. Think about this. At Georgetown, we saw Patrick Ewing, pass it off to Dikembe Mutombo, to pass it off to Alonzo Mourning, and also Allen Iverson was there when Georgetown was Georgetown. And we got to see Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, and who was the one that Dikembe Mutombo. We got to see those guys for 3 to 4 years. Like, those of you that watch college basketball now and you're young, you should be so freaking jealous, because you should be as jealous as we are depressed. Okay? You should be as jealous as we're depressed at how college basketball nowadays is a load of crap, minor league bullshit compared to what used to exist. By the way, all year cooling dominates here in Florida. That's why they are number one in AC and plumbing service in Florida. Same-day service and installs, over 350,000 satisfied customers. Go to the website, allyearcooling.com. You can get a free estimate. They've been in business since 1973. That's 52 years of rocking, baby. So if you live in Homestead all the way up to Vero Beach, and even our friends in Naples, we got a new location there on the West Coast. Call them. Extended warranty, financing available, same-day installations, free repair estimates, 7-day-a-week service. Call the folks that you can count on at All Year Cooling, 888-204-5554. That's 888-204-5554 for All Year Cooling. Basketball Jones says Big East coaching was unreal. John Thompson, Jim Boeheim, PJ Carlissimo, Gary Williams, Lou Carnesecca, Rolly Massimino. Yep. I agree 100%. My pocket potato Big O can't see Finn's tank. Don't want them to tank in 2019. I'm just wishing McD becomes a genius overnight instead. Listen, you guys can wish whatever you want. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. You can vote for them to want to tank or not tank. They don't give a shit about your vote. They don't give a shit about your hopes. They don't give a shit about your wishes. Okay? They're going to do whatever they do. They're either going to win a game or lose a game because they determined it, not you, not because you sat on your lucky seat or you wore your lucky hat, or you want them to do this or want them to do that. I want them to win the Super Bowl, and they never do. So, look, bottom line is it's a lost franchise. And I don't know when they're going to figure it out. Now, I will tell you this, because I find it really funny. And it just shows how desperate we are as a fan base, because you start with this. I got in the car this morning, and I went to go get a little breakfast at Chick-fil-A. Needed my biscuit. And I tune into the local station. And I hear good old Joe. Good dude. Love Joe. His sports takes to me at times are so fanish, and that's why they're usually completely off and silly. And so one of the silly takes, I don't know if he wants it, but Jason Taylor or Zach Thomas or this and that. By the way, how do any of you even know if they can do this? First of all, if they want to do it or if they have the ability to do it. Just because they're a former great player, and I saw the same bullshit with Dan Marino, who ran away from the job faster than Usain Bolt because he didn't want the job. And who knows if he's going to be any good at it. Just like I heard Joe say, well, I know one guy in the building that I want his opinion on a quarterback. How do you know Dan is going to be able to nail the right quarterback, bro? John Elway couldn't find one. And he was a better quarterback than Dan Marino, arguably. Okay? For shits and giggles, if you want to say. For me, I'll probably go and give you, I'll probably give Elway a slight edge because of the mobility, because he was just as good with the arm. So he couldn't find a quarterback. Michael Jordan couldn't find any talent. This is the silly shit fans think of. And then some of you fans, because you hear a former player talk about that gibberish, right? And then you got the other former player, yep. If you had a drinking game called Yep, Bocamper would get you drunk. So listen to any interview. Anyway, so like silliness, silly bullshit. And then you idiots start repeating what these idiots were saying. And nothing personal against the guys, but whoever you are, if I think you said something stupid, I'm going to say you said something stupid. And that's something stupid. Because Marino ran from the job like it was like a house on fire, which is not a very good term to use today, unfortunately. He ran from there like it was an exploding building. He ran from there like everybody had a disease, an airborne disease. I've never seen Dan Marino run faster in his entire career than he did from trying to be a GM. At no point did Dan Marino ever run faster. And you all got to stop, bro, because the great player more often than not sucks at this. And then all you're doing is setting up Zach, Jason, or Marino to fail, and then you insult the shit out of them after that on the way out. And then you'll say, dude, he was a great player, but man, he sucked as a GM. Just like Michael Jordan. Great player, the worst GM in history. That's Michael Jordan's legacy now. Everybody will tell you, oh, dude, probably the greatest player I've ever seen, but man, he sucked as a GM. That'll always be the caveat that follows Michael Jordan. Greatest player, dude, but wow, wasn't it amazing that he couldn't find any talent? That he sucked as a general manager? From the Kwame Brown days in Washington to all the shitty picks in Charlotte, Michael Jordan was consistently terrible. So stop with that, dude. Hire the right football person. Not this silliness. Oh, I want to bring in the former player, let him oversee everything. What does he know? What has Zach Thomas ever built in the NFL? Nothing. What has Jason Taylor ever built in the NFL? Nothing. What have they ever drafted? Nothing. What have they ever scouted? Not a damn thing. And Dan Marino wants to enjoy his life like golf whenever the hell he wants and walk into the building. Oh, you need an opinion? Here's an opinion, and I'm out. That's it. You know what Dan Marino is? He's Orlando Alzigari talking about crypto. He walks into the building and he says, oh, yeah, this is my opinion. Hey, but, I'm just a quarterback. I'm not a pro here. I'm not paid for do that. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. So he's walking in going, hey, yeah, this is not. I'm sure Dan's not going in there going, you got to do this. You got to do it. Nah, dude, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want any part of that shit. But we're so desperate. It's decades now of failure that, you start coming up with the desperate things to talk about because, of course. But, when I hear it, I just want to make sure I bring you back down to reality. And that way you don't listen to silly, stupid shit like that makes no sense whatsoever. Okay? And just because you heard it from Joe Rose or Kim Bocamper doesn't mean it makes any sense whatsoever. Okay? So, just get off it already. Because all you're going to do is set up Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas for a lot of hate. Like, remember I told you that what Stephen Ross did was a solid for Chris Greer? I saw some guy on Twitter. I already hate Champ Kelly. And it's only been a couple days. And I retweeted him and I put this guy, exactly what I talked about. That's what Stephen Ross wanted to limit. Yeah, he wanted to get his friend out of the mix and just left him out of it. No problem. You don't have to deal with the media anymore. You don't have to make any more decisions. You don't have to take any more criticism because that's all that's coming. And that's already people are ripping the Dolphins, ripping Champ Kelly because they didn't make enough trades and all that kind of stuff. Bingo. Bingo. It's exactly what I was talking about. Oh, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink donation. As always, appreciate it. You can send in your questions, comments, and insults. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Oh, I want an executive that knows football and the toughness needed, even if someone is hired to enforce that vision on GM, head coach, and on the field, since owner is lacking someone needs to drive that ship. Yeah, but who? Who? That's why. And this guy has no one really to talk to, Stephen Ross. So that tells you all you need to know. He's never had anybody in his ear that is worth a damn because you see the results for 15 years. Correct? Are we lying here or not? No, we're telling the truth, right? So what makes you think he has anybody around? By the way, Marino's been around. You think he hasn't asked him for his opinion? So I'm just saying. Doesn't matter who's been around him, and he doesn't have anybody now. I can guarantee you this. He's not getting any good advice right now. He doesn't have anybody to lean on. So it's really rough. Joe. Thank you, sir. Joe Mama, by the way. Thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. He says, what do the Panthers and Heat front office have that the Marlins and the Dolphins don't? Well, the Marlins don't spend any money, so you can forget about. Don't ever put the Marlins in any conversation with any team in town. They don't spend any money. They don't try to win. Nothing. If any of you want to fall for the bullshit that happened last year because they won a couple of games, you go ahead and knock yourselves out or whatever, you know. People are stupid. They fall for all kinds of shit. So go ahead. It doesn't matter. But the Dolphins are just incompetent. The Panthers and the Heat are competent. Although, I disagree with the way the Heat are going about rebuilding now. That I think philosophically the Heat have lost their way, but time will tell. We'll find out. We'll find out if they can do it this way. But I think personally the Heat have lost their way. But the Heat, at least for 25 years, were elite and did everything the right way. They have the right people running the organization. The Dolphins don't. The Panthers clearly have the right people running the organization. The Dolphins don't. That's all. The Marlins, they're useless. They're not going to win anything ever. They don't spend any money. You got to spend money in baseball, dude. You got to spend money. What else do we have? There's only one Larry Legend, MVP, NBA champion, coach of the year, executive of the year, 1 of 1. Yeah, but he didn't win a championship with Indiana, did he? Wasn't the Larry Brown one before him? Right? No, actually, Larry Brown was with Detroit. It wasn't even Indiana. So he didn't win one with Indiana. And by the way, the end of Larry Bird's run was disgraceful, dude. Do you know how many guys he drafted that got arrested? You see? Just let me see if I can pull up just an article. Just let me just go like this. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, here. I'm sorry. Larry Bird, Pacers players arrested. Let's see what comes up. Let's see. Larry Bird stepped down in 2017 and 14 seasons. Bird sat at the table, building gritty, intelligent teams, good enough to keep knocking on the door, but then seemingly out of nowhere, he walked away. Yada, yada, yada. I left my position in basketball because I was not willing to spend, because ownership was not willing to spend big money, and it frustrated me to step aside. Nothing could be further from the truth. I want everyone to know I left because it was time for me to move on from the Pacers, not because they didn't spend. Let's see what else. Does the article continue to elaborate on some of the things? Let's see. Bird took the reins in 03, 11-14. The early years, rocky, marred by malice in the palace in 2004. Same roster instability, but Bird kept finding ways to keep Indiana competitive, even in a small market. Let's see. In 13 and 14, Pacers rose to a 56-26 record, the best in the East, and Bird was named Executive of the Year. Let's see what else. No, it doesn't say it, unfortunately. But there was he got on a roll where his players were getting arrested. Different guys, Steven Jackson, Lance Stevenson, just a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to remember all of them off the top of my head, but you got to go back and look at it. So he did solid, but he wasn't Jerry West. Put it that way. He wasn't Jerry West. That's an executive. You know?
Hey, yo.
Yes, sir.
All right. Several Indiana Pacers players were arrested for various offenses during Larry Bird's time as team president. Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, the brawl with the fans, Sean Williams, marijuana possession, Lance Stevenson, assault, and rookie Cam Jones, reckless driving, resisting law enforcement.
See what I mean? I remember that. So even Bird down the stretch ran out of gas and really couldn't get it done either. So this is what happens. And then the great player then gets slammed for it, you know? And he did the best he could, you know, but he had his problems also. Dougie Fresh says, great point about former players not automatically being GM ready. For example, Richard Simmons helped a lot of women, but you don't want Richard Simmons' advice on getting women. There you go. I like that. And it's also true. Yeah, let me give you some pickup advice for women. Yeah, I don't think you want Richard Simmons to do that for you. I need to be a little bit more high pitch on that Richard Simmons voice. Stephen Ross is clueless, even though his heart is in the right place. He is a dumbass and is clueless. Exactly. His heart is in the right place, but he is an absolute dumbass. Donnie Walsh was the Pacers GM that drafted Reggie Miller. Oh, yeah, no. The Donnie Walsh teams were with the Davis boys and Reggie Miller and all that. That wasn't Larry Bird. Yeah, those were great teams. Those were cock-blocked by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan cock-blocked those Pacer teams, our Heat team, the Knicks team, the Cavs team, the Utah Jazz. Might be one more team that I'm forgetting that had a legit shot at a title during the whole Bulls run, and they were cock-blocked by them. I might be missing one team. Maybe somebody can remind me. But most of those teams had like good enough teams to get and win a title. But with Michael Jordan hogging up 6 of them, just weren't good enough, dude. But all those teams, 1 or 2 of them would have won a title during that stretch. I guarantee you 1 or 2 of them would have won it. I don't know who. I don't know if it would have been the Pacers or Miami or the Knicks or the Cavs or the Jazz, or somebody would have won a title or 2. So, you know what I'm saying? What else? I could see Ross family buying the Marlins. No. Big O Coleman was on Sarah. Yeah, right. Coleman, lazy dude. What a talent. My God, sick talent. But what an underachiever. What else? Donnie Walsh never won Executive of the Year. Larry Bird did win Executive of the Year. LOL. Yeah, that's it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Donnie Walsh had that white hair that was just like manicured perfectly. It was stylish. It must have taken Donnie like a couple of hours every day to prepare that fro. I got to tell you. Stephen Baker, Bruce Arians. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Bruce Arians, good coach. Understands talent. Definitely understands quarterback. That would be a guy that you could pick his brain if you're Stephen Ross and say, hey, identify a quarterback for me. You know, what kind of young coaches do you like that are developing quarterbacks? That kind of stuff, because he's too old already to bring. But I like that, to kind of ask him. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? A weird brag. When I lived in Santa Barbara getting my teaching degree, I babysat for Herb Simon, owner of the Pacers, and he was legit cool, smart, and easy to deal with. Okay. It's one of my favorite arenas to go to because it's also like a Hall of Fame on both floors. And it has so many like memories and, like paraphernalia from back in the day, basketballs and jerseys and shirts, hats, whatever, and historical stuff of the NBA and ABA, because obviously Indiana's rich history from the days of the ABA also. And if you've never been to the Pacers Arena, whatever the hell it's called nowadays, that field house, if you ever go to Indiana, I'm telling you, I don't give a shit about the game itself. Sure, you go and you watch a Pacers game, maybe a Pacers Heat or Pacers whatever, but the best part about going for the first time, okay, is to go experience it. And I suggest you go the second the arena opens, so you can take an hour, 2 hours easily to walk and see everything all the way around both levels, okay? My suggestion to you, that's all I got to say. Take your time and really enjoy it, because there's a lot of precious stuff that's in that arena, and it's a really, really cool thing that they did. Let's see. Big O, did you see? Yes, I saw the Marshawn Nealon news. Yes. It was a I didn't see why. Is that true, Sean, that it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound?
Yeah, it looks like the Frisco police just released a statement.
Wow.
Says Frisco police investigate a possible suicide. A man was found deceased from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound following an outside agency vehicle pursuit that led to a multi-agency search in Frisco. On November 5th, 2025, at approximately 10:39 p.m., the Frisco Police Department responded to assist the Texas Department of Public Safety with locating a vehicle that had evaded troopers during a pursuit that entered the city of Frisco. After losing visual of the vehicle, troopers located minutes later crashed on southbound Dallas Parkway near Warren Parkway. Initial reports indicated that a male subject, later identified as 24-year-old Marshawn Nealand of Plano, Texas, fled the scene on foot. Officers established a perimeter and initiated a search of the area with the assistance of FPD, K9, and drone units. During the course of the search, officers received information that Nealand had expressed suicidal ideations. Nealand was later located at 1:31 a.m. deceased with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The cause, manner of death will be determined by the Collin County Medical Examiner's Office. At this time, no further details will be released as the investigation remains open. Our heartfelt condolences to the Nealand family and friends. And it says, if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Please call or text the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988. You are not alone. That is the media release from the Frisco Police Department.
Kid obviously was dealing with a bunch of demons, man. What a shame. What a shame. And, man, if you know somebody that is dealing with some kind of depression, listen. Take the time to listen a little bit and reach out. So many of us are hurting, man. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Reach out to Alan Blanco if your company, corporation needs custom printing and embroidery. 786-618-1443. NBA last night, Nuggets defeated the Heat 122-112. The real story is Bam Adebayo left in the first quarter with a left foot injury. No word yet on how serious the foot injury is. They will take on the Heat on Friday. The Heat will take on the Hornets on Friday, and that'll be here at the Kaseya Center. Also, sad news, Eric Spoelstra's house also burned down last night, too. That was also in the news. On the ice, the Panthers tonight, back in action. On the road, they continue their West Coast swing. They're in L.A. to take on the Kings. 10 o'clock will be the face-off. Saturday at 3:30, Syracuse will be taking on number 18 UM at Hard Rock Stadium. 3:30 will be the kickoff. Saturday at 8 o'clock, it is winner take all. The series is tied at 1 game apiece. Best of 3. Inter Miami hosting Nashville. Luis Suarez, by the way, has been suspended by the MLS for his conduct in the last game, in Game 2 against Nashville. So Messi and the boys will be without their star player. We'll see what happens there. Saturday at 7 o'clock, Fort Lauderdale United hit the road. They will visit the Carolina Ascent. And on Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Dolphins will host the Bills. Bills are favored by 9. The over and under is 50. Dolphins plus 375. Bills minus 500 on the money line. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. There you go. Oh, man. And, on the basketball side, by the way, the more I think of the Ja Morant situation, the more I think that the Miami Heat may have no choice but to take a chance on another Jimmy Butler. Because he's super talented, but he's also a head case, right? So that's kind of who Jimmy Butler is. Talented, but a head case, right? And the question is, can you resurrect that talent here? Can he be that guy that comes here and, Tim Hardaway had baggage when he got here, and from there on out, there was never a problem again. And you move forward. Can you do that? Can you get an Ike Austin that you made him lose like 100 pounds and you got him going in the right direction? That was a different kind of an issue. So sometimes the Heat resurrection plans work and sometimes they don't. And with Jimmy, it worked for a short while until it didn't. But I will tell you this, since I disagree with the way they're going about building the team, because They're unwilling to part ways with all the players that they can, get as many first rounders, and that's how you actually, you rebuild. You tear down, you get a bunch of first rounders, you draft young guys, you're bad enough to be in the lottery, or you use multiple picks to go acquire a young, frustrated star from somewhere else. Well, Miami has been able to find frustrated stars like Alonzo Mourning in the past. Can you do it again? With Anthony Mason, it lasted for a half a season or 3/4 of a season until Alonzo Mourning came back, and then they lost Mason. That was all on Riley. He should have eased Alonzo Mourning back and kept Mason as the centerpiece in a 50-win season that he saved your ass. You should have rewarded him that way, and you should have brought Zoe along slowly. But I know the ego of Zoe and all that other stuff, and you're a coach and you're fighting through all of that, but that screwed up the team. But I look at this with John Morant, and he can play. Now, can he screw his head on right so he can be a star again? I think you got a chance here. And if you're not giving up anything except Tyler, because if I got to give up a bunch of picks, no, I'm not doing it because of the risk. But if I'm not really giving up anything, it's going to be pretty much a straight up swap. They're trying to unload and we're trying to unload, and I'm good with that. That is a risk I'm willing to take because John Morant has the dog in him that no one on this team has except Pallel Larson. Okay? Nobody. The only person that can play with that kind of dog, now he's not that kind of talent, is Larson. So I would love to make the move for John Morant. That is one move that I would take because if you're not willing to go the hard way and tear it all down, which they're not that team, this is who they are. This is who you've been since Pat Riley got here. Find the disgruntled Alonzo Mourning and the Tim Hardaway and the Anthony Mason and the Shaquille O'Neal. And, you find those disgruntled stars. LeBron disgruntled, can't get it done in Cleveland. Bosch disgruntled, can't get it done in Toronto. You've done it over and over and over again, and it's worked. Even disgruntled Jimmy Butler, who was disgruntled wherever he went, it worked for a little while here. I would take that chance. The John Morant one is that is definitely something I would dive in for. Yeah, I would take that chance because you're talking about a kid that's got superstar ability. And if you're a franchise like the Miami Heat that is desperately trying to recapture that superstar thing in your franchise, this is it, man. This is it. I don't know what I'm not willing to do Fat Boy over in New Orleans, like some people have talked about the last couple of years, and again, he's injured again. No, that's not what I'm willing to take a chance on. But I get it, South Beach, Miami, lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. Maybe there's a come to Jesus. Maybe he figures out that he needs it for his career. And certainly the Heat franchise need a superstar. If somehow or another that one would go, I would try that one if I'm the Miami Heat. And if all I'm giving up is Tyler Hero, I'd be more than glad to take that on. And by the way, he's got a current contract, so it's not like, let me see if I look it up here real quick. I'll tell you right now, I think he has, he just signed the deal and he's got several years on it left. You don't have to give him a new contract or anything like that. You can actually just inherit this contract, and exactly. He's getting paid $39 this year, and then he gets paid $42 and $44. 45 practically in the next 2 years. So the next 2 years, if you have a solid, half this year and the next 2 years, if you have a solid citizen and the guy wants to play ball, then you can extend him when he's 29 and you can still get a couple more years, good years out of him. You know what I'm saying? If he resurrects his career, if he comes back and he plays, and for the next 2 years, you're able to test him out and all that kind of stuff, I would take the chance. I would take the chance with Ja Morant. Definitely. There is no doubt in my mind that I would take that chance. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Zion is done. Yeah, I would never take a chance on that guy. Andrew Mann says Ja needs a change of scenery and a fresh start. I agree. The Heat need a center, someone who can rebound and score at the net. Yeah, I get it, but if I can get a Ja Morant, that I would do it, man. Lenny Pena says Ja Morant is a superstar talent, but Pat is emotionally invested in Jovic, Ware, and hero of the world, and he's blinded his vision for this franchise. Well, I get the whole influence stuff, but Lenny, if you want to do that, go ahead, but I haven't seen a star out of those guys yet. And you need a star on this team. You need stars in the NBA, dude. You're not going to win shit in the NBA if you don't have stars. And you need at least that guy. I would do it. Devin says, Big O, it's simple for me. You ask yourself, is Ja an upgrade over Hero? And the answer is, hell yeah. Hell yeah. You're going to pay, if you want to keep this kid, you're going to pay him that kind of money. Screw that, dude. I'd rather pay Ja and take the chance. Ja's a dog. Like, he's a dog. And I think with Spoelstra, he's got a chance to be a superstar again. Really do. If he listens to Spo and everything, I think he'll be a superstar. Jovic, I'm not going for disappointment yet because we're only a few games into the season. I'm not going to do that for Jovic. I'm not going to do that for Ware. I'm not going to do, hey, look, Jaquez was a disappointment last year, and look at him now. You got to be patient with young people, man. Too many of you give up on young people way too quickly. Jovic is a baby. He has to grow and he has to physically develop. And that's something that, might take a little time. But remember where Jaquez was last year, and everybody gave up on Jaquez. And the kid has completely turned it around and figured it out. The light went on. So take it easy. Way too early to give up on Jovic or on Ware or on Larson or on Iacuchonis or all these guys are too young. They haven't played enough yet. They haven't experienced enough. You haven't put them through enough, unfortunately. So, by the way, another story that's out there, and it's a really silly one, is the whole, because it's a report, right? Which the report is a bunch of bullshit, because there's lots of reports out there that are a bunch of bullshit. And all the media does is repeat them because they don't have any insight on it. So then they just repeat it over and over again. And, we squash those kind of things here all the time. Tua's not playing for his job. I'm glad he actually phrased it. I'm not even going to bother playing the cut or whatever. That he's playing like he's always played. He's always been the starter. And that's how he's always thought about it. He's playing to try to help his team win the game. And I understand whatever hatred some of you have or dislike or distrust that you have in Tua. I get it. I understand. But if you think anybody on the bench is going to do better, that's where you're stupid. That's where you're a moron. Sorry. But just want you to know, okay? And in a dysfunctional environment, listen, I'm a Tua guy. So personally, I want him benched and I want him cut. I don't think he should waste one more minute of time with this franchise at all, personally. I would do everything in my power to want to get the hell out of here in the offseason if I'm any player with this team. But when you have a coach that can't get plays in on time, doesn't really know how to use his talent, doesn't know how to use the running game, young quarterbacks are just going to struggle like you've seen when Tua goes down, that nobody else can do anything because it's really hard to succeed with that loser as your coach. So Tua is not playing for his job. He's playing for survival. That's what he's playing for. Flat out survival. And that's what everyone on that team is playing for now at this point. They need to survive this disaster and then figure a way off the Titanic if they're not free agents. They're all having conversations with their agents. They're all trying to figure out ways to get out. And I get it. It's a talking point because anything quarterback is a talking point. And lazy people in the media, whether it's writing, whether it's on radio, they'll use it as a topic so they can use it as some kind of a hook that there's actually some reality to it. If Tua gets benched, it's because everything around him is so bad that it's not even helping him. And when you put another guy in like they did with Ewers, he's going to look exactly like how Ewers did. Terrible. Because there is no environment that is conducive to players having success. Not just quarterbacks, players. That's what this man has created. And now you've got an environment where they're not going to listen to him anymore. They're going to be planning their vacations. They're going to be playing their own brand of football from here on out. And they're going to try to put whatever they think is right on film. Because since he's been misleading you for so long, you're now not going to listen and you're going to do what you think is right in certain moments, because that's what you're going to want to put on film, not what he told you to do. This is not an environment to put any kind of quarterback in. I feel bad that Tua has to play in this environment. I'm hoping that he survives it. I know those of you that hate, dislike, distrust, whatever it is with Tua, you're probably dying for him to get injured. But if you think him getting benched solves any kind of issues or creates any kind of positivity, God, you couldn't be more full of shit. You couldn't be more off. Anyway. Oh, man. What else do we have going on? Do want to remind you, our friends at Acura of Pembroke Pines, we're going to be there tomorrow, broadcasting live at Acura Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. We'll be in Madrid next week, so we can't go next Friday. So we're going to go this Friday. And the ADX 2025, $269 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. The 2025 Integra, $269 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The RDX, $389 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. And the TLX, $389 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. If you also own or lease a vehicle, get on down there, go see Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, and visit my friends there at the service center, Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber. They do excellent work, and they will take care of your car, whether you bought it or leased it, anywhere. Doesn't matter what dealership but if you're in that area, go by, man. You can get it serviced there at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Lenny says, that's what I'm saying, Big O. Your need for a superstar in this league, but Riley's emotions have gotten in the way from making trades for talent. I agree. Or the ownership too, since they're also making the decisions. Thank you, Stephen Harris. Thank you for smashing it. And don't forget, folks, to smash it. You haven't gotten us over 100 already. John Morant to the Heat. He's fearless, 100%. Edward Thurston Howe. Everyone puts down Tannehill, but don't look now. Tannehill's stats at this point in his career is better than Tua. Yeah, I know, but does Tua have Derrick Henry and everything that went on with that line and that defense and that coach on the sidelines? That's where, you can't mix apples and oranges. Okay, so then, Edward, what happened in college? One guy got moved to wide receiver, and the other guy comes off the bench and wins a national title. I wonder why, Edward. Was there something different in Alabama that there is here in Miami for the last 25 years? I'm just wondering. Any chance? Your environment is everything. Tannehill couldn't, remember when the season was on the line and you had to beat a bad Jets or a bad Bills team at the end of the year? All you had to do was win one of those two, Edward. And Ryan Tannehill couldn't win one of those two. He shit the bed on both. He shit the bed for Tennessee. They finally had to get rid of him because, when they put him in a moment where he had to carry, he threw 3 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? But he had more success there because they know how to build. Mike Vrabel knows how to build better around the quarterback. Oh, and by the way, how's May doing this year, Edward, compared to last year? What's the difference with May last year and May this year, Edward? Wonder. Is it environment? Gerard Mayo or Mike Vrabel? Mike McDaniel or Mike Vrabel? Joe Philbin or Mike Vrabel? I wonder. That's what's called checkmate. And you just went like this to your king. And your king went like this. Anyway, Magnus says, if the season is lost, don't you want to see what we have in Ewers? Just so we have. Did you not listen? Are you not paying attention to the word environment? This is the amazing part about this country. None of you ever listen. This is the amazing part about this country. The orangutan for a year told you that he would do exactly what he's doing. And now people are freaking out after they voted for him or whatever on what he's doing. Well, because you didn't listen. The dude is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. It's like, Magnus, I just explained everything about environment. I just gave Thurston Howe an education on environment, and there's the dude. Like, are you really going to find out about anyone under Mike McDaniel? Oh, my God. Anyway. Edward says, yes, but that isn't Tannehill's fault that he didn't have the talent in Miami. But that's my point, my brother. It's because Tannehill sucks. And then even in Tennessee, he's the one that screwed it all up for them. They had to get rid of him because 2 years in a row, he shit the bed in the key moments because once you got to the playoff moments, he sucked. But he succeeded because they gave him a better environment by handing it off to the horse. He was winning playoff games, Tannehill. Go back and look at it. Throwing 75 yards, 125 yards. Like, he wasn't throwing much, and he would win games. But then when they put the weight of the world on him, he threw 3 interceptions. And that's when Vrabel said, no mas, no mas. And then they had to start drafting the young kids, and they had trouble finding the quarterback because Tannehill shit the bed. They maxed out Tannehill, something that Miami can't do because Miami doesn't know how to do that. It's like the Wanstead thing. Wanstead, he maxed him out. Wanstead maxed out Jay Fiedler. He gave him a running game. He gave him a decent line. He gave him weapons. He gave him a pass-catching fullback. He gave him a pass-catching tight end. The defense was excellent. It's just he wasn't good enough. Just wasn't good enough. That's all. But at least he accomplished. He even won a playoff game, for Christ's sake. So, or 2. I think he might have won 2, right? Did he win the Tennessee and the Raiders game, was it? Not sure now. Anyway, doesn't matter. No, I think he only won 1. But doesn't matter. Either way, they surrounded him better than what we've done down here. And that's it. Environment is everything, ladies and gentlemen. Everything. Look at Sam Darnold, environment in New York, and now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, Sam Darnold's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Environment. What else do we have? Quarterbacks are like NHL goalies. Glory when you are winning, blame when you're losing, and it's the team in front of you and the coaching that makes or breaks them. Sometimes, yeah. Especially for quarterbacks. There are some goalies that are, they can stand on their head and kind of, carry you a little bit more. But yeah, the quarterback definitely needs a team. Definitely. The Dolphins should build a Jay Fiedler because he was the last QB to win a playoff game. It's crazy. Was it the Raiders game or I forgot now. Titans, Raiders? I forgot which one it was that Fiedler won. I know he won 1. Maybe 2. I don't know. Did he win 2? I don't know. I know he won 1. It was the one where he's running and he scores and he's on the floor and he lifts his arm. I think that's the game, if I remember correctly. Big O, without a doubt in my mind, I know the best coach in the NBA, Spoelstra, can definitely get and revitalize the superstar talent, Morant. We just got to keep him out of the strip clubs, right? Exactly. Edward Thurston, now with Fiedler, everyone said Wanstead sucked as a... He did. He sucked. He was very conservative. And he couldn't figure out the offense. They gave him a good defense, and he just couldn't get the quarterback position fixed. And he also, his conservative ways, he would settle for field goals depending on field position and the defense, and that would wear out the defense. So yes, he wasn't a great game day coach. He was not. But I will say that out of all the quarterbacks that we've had from Marino to Tua, this is the funny part. From Marino to Tua, the coach that did the best to surround his quarterback was Wanstead, because he inherited the defense from Jimmy, and then the offense he built was actually pretty good. It was actually a pretty good offense, and he had some dominant running games. Lamar Smith and Ricky Williams, shit, dude. So I got to give him credit for that. Now, his coaching, yeah, it was shady, and he couldn't find the right QB. Whatever. It's our story. We can never really find the whole combination. It's kind of been like that forever. By the way, Bitcoin flirted with just going under 100 again, but it didn't make it. It got to like 100,300. Now it's back over 101. So almost went under 100 again, but it did not. reach under 100 this time. Let's see, what else do we have? Jabroni Brissett goes to Arizona and balls out. See, the thing about the Jabroni one that I don't buy yet, and I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can pull it up here a second. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up for you. Zona this week. They are at the Seahawks. They've won 3 games. Okay. Now, Jabroni Brissett. Jabroni is actually playing well, right? Now, well compared to Kyler Murray is, relative. So here's what's gone on. This is well, okay, just to make sure. We're talking about 21 of 31 last game, 261, 67% completion percentage, almost 68 actually. Pretty good. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Okay? So he also, by the way, rushed for 1 touchdown. The week before, 25 of 36, 69%, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The week before that, 27 of 44, 320, 61%, lower, 2 touchdowns and an interception. So we are talking about a guy that's thrown 6 touchdowns and 1 interception in 3 weeks. He's not necessarily lighting it up. They've won only 1 of those 3 games, and it was against the Cowboys this week, 27-17. They lost to Green Bay, and they lost to Indianapolis. Okay? So they've beaten Carolina to start the year, 27-22, and now they beat Dallas 27-17. Okay? I get it, but it's still jabroni, and at one point or another, the jabroni wheels will fall off the wagon like they always do. If he was really lighting it up, scary lighting it up, okay, then I'll give it to you. But yeah, he's had a couple of decent games. For him, it's really good. But I wouldn't go too crazy with the whole jabroni thing. I get it for them because Kyler hasn't put it. Kyler can play, but he just can't put it all together. It's crazy. He's actually a decent passer, but he cannot put it all together. So he's done slightly better job. One extra game for them, or 1 game actually so far. So it's not like he's making an enormous difference here. Slow down, because something tells me the jabroni game is coming where he throws a couple of interceptions. At one point, a jabroni will be a jabroni when you've been a jabroni your whole life. I just don't believe that jabroni is going to find his way now this deep into his career. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's see. Lamar Smith was a monster for a couple of years. Yes, he was. Wani had no balls, never went for 4th and inches, always settled for field goals and celebrated them as they were TDs and carried over with Sperano as well. Exactly. Ocala goes, come on, O. We all know McDummy is the QB whisperer. Like at the Hall of Fame, Skyler. Right? Exactly. Big O, for sure I would trade Hero for Morant. Of course. You got to be insane not to want to make that move, Hero for Morant. Definitely got to make that move. No doubt about that. All right, folks. We appreciate all of you out there, as always, for tuning in. Oh, wait a minute. I did not do music. Let me do music before I go. Let me get that done because I always do a little music history, music news. By the way, did you see the Haley Khalil and Matt Khalil story that they got a divorce? She's a model. Matt is a former offensive lineman in the NFL. Speaking of like entertainment news, before I get into the music part, the woman divorced the guy because he was too large. They couldn't have sex. So the guy apparently is so large, it's 2 Coke cans. So she was like, unless I wanted to cry or whatever, it was impossible. Now, I know Kim Kardashian and others are going to be lined up to go date Matt Khalil because there are women that can handle a hot dog down a hallway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, I'm going to play matchmaker here. All right. Larsa Pippen. There you go. There's a woman that is loosely ready for Matt Khalil. Kim Kardashian, another woman that has been loosened up, prepared for Matt Khalil. So Matt has got to find, models, they barely eat. They weigh like 80 pounds. They're going to be really thin. It's, these women, you're going to kill them. And so you need to go with the ones that have been trained. The ones that the odometer has gone around a couple of times. But now that this woman has actually put out this story about Matt Khalil, that he is extra large, I got to tell you, I would imagine that Matt Khalil's DMs are exploding right now. Okay? Absolutely exploding. So I don't know if Haley Khalil did a favor for Matt, because obviously she could not, climb the mountain. So now she has advertised for the women that easily can climb the mountain, like the ones I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So Matt, just want you to know, I know there's somebody for everybody out there, and you will find the woman that has a wide range of love for you, sir. Eventually, you will find that woman. And the day you do, I know we will all hear about it, because the screams will be able to hear it from anywhere in the earth. So there you go. Matt Khalil, heavily gifted. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date, right? Let's go with music history. Let's go musicians. Paul Gilbert, guitarist with Mr. Big, born on my date, 1966. Corey Glover, lead singer for Living Colour, born in 1964 on this date. Let's see, who else? Paul Brindley, guitarist with the Sundays, born in 1963. Craig Goldie, guitarist with Dio, born in 1961. Glenn Fry, the late Glenn Fry from the Eagles, born in 1948. We lost him back in 2016. Let's see who else. All right, that's enough for musicians. Let's go with famous people. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they are no longer with us, unfortunately. Hall of Fame member from basketball, James Naismith, born in 61. Hall of Fame member Walter Johnson for baseball, born in 1887. Let's see. Actor June Squibb, born in 29. She is 96 today. Bless her. Actress Sally Field, born in 46. She's 79. The Frog, because you'd like to jump her. TV journalist, former California First Lady Maria Shriver, born in 55. She is 70. Actress Lori Singer, born in 57. She's 68. Actress Kelly Rutherford, born in 68. She's 57. Actor Ethan Hawke, born in 70. He's 55. Actress Thandi Newton, born in 72. She's 53. Rebecca Ramjan Nostamos, born in 72. She's 53. Pat Tillman, former football player turned soldier, born in 76 on this date. Rest in peace. Lamar Odom, born in 79. Somehow or another, he's still alive. He's 46. Actress Emma Stone, born in 88. She's 37. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir, we do. Fred Yale turns 32. Jade Chung is 41. Ken Patera turns 83. And SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, he's 39 on November 6th, 2025.
By the way, I'm not going to give anything away. I don't want to give any spoilers away. But I've been watching the morning show, all caught up with it on Apple, where Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon star and several other actors. And I'm forgetting the guy's name, but just overall, the acting in that show is excellent. Jennifer does her acting job this week was stellar. Stellar, dude. And I forgot the guy's name, that he's really likable, and he was like the president knocked out or whatever. What he went through this week with his mom and all. I don't want to give away anything, but just really good acting on the morning show, dude. Really good acting. Really good acting. And if you like the business like I do, it's always also a little bit more interesting too when you watch it. All right, let's go in music history. What happened today on November 6th? Because I know you're all intrigued, wondering, well, what happened? Anything big? Well, of course, in 65, the Stones started a 2-week run on number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with Hey, Hey, He. Get Off of My Cloud, their second top single in America. In 68, the Monkees movie Head was released. The studio that commissioned the film expected something light and funny, but got a trippy commentary on the manipulation of the Monkees, complete with the scene where the group jumps to their death off a bridge. The film bombed when it was released, but later became a cult classic. Some guest appearances in the movie include Victor Mature, Terry Garr, Carol Doda, Annette Funicello, Frank Zappa, Sonny Liston, Timothy Carey, Percy Helton, Ray Nitschke, Dennis Hopper, and the film choreographer was Tony Basil. Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Very nice nugget that went with that one. Let's see who else just celebrating a birthday. Graham Parsons, manager Phil Kaufman, was fined $300 for stealing Parsons' body from the Los Angeles International Airport. Might be an issue, stealing somebody's body. In 76, the Steve Miller Band went to number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with Rockin' Me. Keep on rocking me, baby. Keep on rocking me, baby. Baby, 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 keep on rocking. It was the group's second number 1 hit. In 76, Blue Oyster Cult landed their biggest hit, Don't Fear the Reefer. I'm sorry, it's the Reaper. Sorry. Peaked at number 12 on the U.S. song charts. Let's see, what else? Oh, and by the way, 24 years later, the song's soundtrack was on Saturday Night Live's most popular sketches, More Cowbell, which aired on April 8, 2000, and features Will Ferrell and Christopher Walken, which was a classic one. Let's see, in 81, Adam and the Ants released their third and final studio album, Prince Charming. It features the singles Stand and Deliver, Your Money or Your Life, Prince Charming, and Ant Rap. In 81, the Cars released their fourth studio album, Shake It Up, Shake It Up. It also included Since You're Gone, Victim of Love, Think It's Over, and I'm Not the One. In 82, Soft Cell's Tainted Love logged a record 43 weeks on Britain's Top 100. In 82, Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warnes sung It's Up Where We Belong from An Officer and a Gentleman, and it went to number 1. Am I a bad guy for making fun of Joe Cocker? He's a great singer, dude. But my God, the stuff that he was doing on stage with his body and all that and everything, and he sweated like Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter. Like Joe Cocker is the only musician I've ever seen that you needed some squeegee kids to come onto the stage and squeeze, and clean out the sweat off the floor. Because if not, people are going to die. They're going to slip and fall. Joe Cocker, I'm telling you. Patrick Ewing has nothing on Joe Cocker. Okay? Notice how Patrick Ewing would come to the line of dribble and he'd look down and then the water would just flow down his chin. And then when they were done with the free throws, they're running to the other court, and then there's like 87 kids trying to dry up the floor that, because Pat Ewing pretty much was like a fire hydrant. And Joe Cocker, to me, was the singing fire hydrant equivalent of Pat Ewing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, in 1990, Madonna released Justify My Love, which stirred controversy when MTV banned the video. The drama piqued interest in the song, which became her 9th number one in the U.S. Let's see, what else do we have? In 92, Rage Against the Machine released their debut studio album, Rage Against the Machine, and it features the singles Killing in the Name, Bullet in the Head, Bomb Track, and Freedom. In 93, Pearl Jam went to number one on the U.S. album charts with Versus, selling 950,378 copies in 1 week. In 2003, Justin Timberlake wins Best Male Artist, Pop Act, and Best Album for Justified at the 10th Annual MTV Europe Music Awards. In 2007, Jay-Z released the 10th studio album, American Gangster. It features the singles Blue Magic, Rock Boys, and I Know. In 2008, thanks to the internet voting, Rick Astley won Best Act Ever at the MTV Europe Music Awards. We've been well and truly Rick-rolled, the show's producer said. In 2013, Lady Gaga released her third studio album, Art Pop, and it features the singles Applause, Do What You Want, and Guy. And let's see. In 2020, System of a Down released 2 songs, Project the Land and Genocide Humanoids, supporting their home country of Armenia in a war that has broken out in the region, in the first new material from the band since their album Hypnotized in 2005. Let's see if there's any birthdays that I forgot that there wasn't on that other list. Oh, Greg Gaffin from Bad Religion is 61. All right. And that's it. That's what happened today in music history. How about that, folks? All right, Big O, I recently saw a picture of Heidi Klum, and she's a smoke show. Waller dropped the ball on her. Oh, yeah. She's a great basketball player. She's my favorite basketball player. She's a trip, man. She's cool. That's one of the things that stood out to me more than anything else. Not so much about her looks or her talent, but Plum is a hell of a player, and she's super cool, man. She's got a great attitude. So yeah, I mean, Waller's been a major screw up in his life, dude. So he's like in the middle of trying to resurrect his life since he's screwed up so much. That's the problem. Katia Hiro is going to miss the beach. Maybe she doesn't move. Maybe she stays in Miami and he just pops back and forth. Who knows? Although they have kids now, so I don't know. It's just so tough on families when they got to move, man. That is really rough on everybody. All right, folks, we are out of here. We appreciate all of you out there for tuning in. If you hit the like button, thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be live at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the